Hey everybody, this is Jesse here at Fantasy Customs. Today I am working on this 2004 Camry LE. This has the 4-cylinder, the 2.4 liter. A lot of these are the same from 2004 up to 2012. So I have a bad, what's coming up on the check engine light, solid check engine light as a not communicating with the not communicating with the knock sensor. So I ordered a new knock sensor. Now these things are very expensive at all, about $170 for this stupid little part. And so the problem is that, yeah, I got a cheap one. I was able to find it online for about $15 or $20, and I thought I would give it a go. Now let's see. Shoot, we need a little bit of light here. So unfortunately, it's not easy to get to, and so you can watch. I have another video I already posted from a long time ago when I removed one of these intake manifolds, which there is 5 bolts up top, as you can see, 2 on each end, and 1 in the middle and 2 up high, and then there's 2 more down low, 1 on the driver's side and 1 towards the middle. And if you pull the throttle body off of there, as well as the tube with the map sensor off, you can get in here enough that man, this is going to be really hard to show you guys, but these wires right here, this is the wires. It goes over to the knock sensor, which you really just cannot see it. Oh wait, yeah, you can. Can you see it right there? Can you see it with the bolt sticking out of it, the plastic thing? So let me pause this and I'm going to unplug it for you guys so I can show you what exactly is going on. Okay, I've got it unplugged now and I can show you exactly what happened because it's very apparent now that I have it apart. Darn it, there is literally... I hate engineers. They could have put this sensor anywhere on the car. They didn't have to put it where they put it, but... Can you see that? Can you see that? Now there's let's see, pull, see this stuff here? You see all that garbage? And there was a nut there too, you can't see it, but there's critters. There are critters that decided to chew this all up. They've chewed all of the wire off of this sensor all the way up to the very tip of it here, where I can't even probably redo this. So they've caused more issue than I'd like to admit. This is my new camera that I'm using. I'm not used to it one bit. So anyways, guys, that is the case with this thing. I thought I needed a new sensor, so I bought it. Luckily I didn't pay the $170, but it almost would have been better to have paid the $170 because now I could just return it for $170. Instead, I'm stuck with a $15 sensor that's not even going to be worth the shipping to send it back. I'll see if maybe I can, but either way, I was a little bit afraid of that. There's basically a little tunnel way right through there that they think is a great little spot for rodents to hide. They got up there, they decided to chew the wiring, and basically the problem is with that sensor not working, it set the check engine light and the car runs and drives fine, except that I don't have overdrive anymore. And so pretty much doing anything over 50 miles an hour is like revving the engine super high and not getting good gas mileage and all that. So I really need overdrive back on my transmission. Okay, so we're back for the next part of this Camry knock sensor repair. So I ended up having to, there was hardly any wire on here. This is actually, I've already depinned it. I did that off camera because I really wasn't sure that I was going to be able to get this out. Sometimes I have trouble, but I was able to go down in there, and I don't know if you can see it at all, but if you could, down in the side where the pin's already taken out, there's a very small little tab that locks the actual pin into place. So I was able to get that out, and there was just a teeny piece of insulation on it, as well as this. And this actually goes onto the very top and pushes down in. Really don't want to put this back together already, but it pushes down in there. And anyways, so you have to take that white piece out to be able to get to the tabs. And once that's all apart, I was not able to find this particular wiring harness replacement. I saw a lot for the V6s and older Camrys and stuff like that, but for this particular knock sensor, it looked like it did not plug in anywhere else. It just went into the main harness, and so I had to snip it off. And you can see on this piece, I think at least, maybe not, it will not focus. Anyways, I wish you could see that a little bit better, but basically it, let's see, maybe we can do it with the manual focus. Oh, this camera, yeah, it really just doesn't wanna, come on, there it is. Okay, so now you can see that a little better. This expensive camera should focus a little bit better than that, but anyways, that's what you're looking at. Zoom back out here. As the mice have chewed a bunch of the insulation off of this, so I'm gonna have to splice to that as well. I could have just taped over it, but I really needed the plug out of there because there's very little room to work with, and I needed to depin this since I was not able to get a replacement plug harness piece. And I don't have any of the new actual crimp pins of the perfect size that you would need, the right ones, so that it'll plug back in. Otherwise, I would just throw this whole little piece away and then use another piece of wire and actually crimp the new one in place and pop it back in there. That would actually be a little bit easier, but I'm gonna go ahead and try to solder this, because that's pretty much my only option at this point is to be successful in soldering this. Okay, plenty cool. I guess I can always mess with this after this is in there. It might get in the way a little bit though, so I can pull this back out though pretty easily. I just want to make sure that it's going to accept it, and boom, right there we run into problems with the solder immediately, and cannot, oh, it's really close. It's really, really, really close. Let's use a screwdriver to see if I can mash it the rest of the little way in there. It is so close, it's not even funny. So, trying to be semi-careful. It looks like it's all the way in there. Let's see if it's going to, oh yeah. It's showing that it's all the way in there at least, so I don't want to smash anything, but I think I heard it click. It sure did. Okay, so we're officially in there now, and pulling on it, it feels okay, I guess. So we're gonna call that good. Now I might as well get this other piece prepped here if possible. Carefully. and ready to, I'm thinking, get it repaired while it's out, and then make another splice further down the line where it's more accessible once it's in there. I think that's my plan of attack on this one. Really put me in a pickle. I haven't had to do a ton of this kind of stuff, but I have done a fair share, I guess, of different wire repairs and such things. But it can be a challenge, especially when, you know, you don't have this piece hanging out like I didn't on the other side, and I actually had to pull the pin out to try and repair it. It definitely makes things a challenge. So anyways, I'm going to put another piece on this wire, probably the same length, and then I can get that spliced into the car. Okay, before I get this other side repaired, I'm going to go ahead and try to, the best I can, tape off all this exposed solder. Okay, so we're back on the car here now. As you can see, there's only about 2 inches of wire sticking out from where I would have to rip into this main wiring harness to get extra out. I'm going to attempt to not cut the main harness up, all the insulation off of it, so that I can pull those wires out further. It's going to be really difficult, but I'm going to try and crimp. As you can see, the ends right there. Sorry about the low lighting situation here, but anyways, so yeah, I'm going to try and go ahead and use my crimp sleeves on both of those wires. Ouch. Oh, I gotta climb down here. And still got a little heat going in here, luckily. But I guess we can turn that off because you guys can see out here. So I've got both of the ends, the white one, and then this was the black wire. Ready, and we've got our crimp sleeves, so I'm not going to be able to film this because it's already going to be painful enough just doing it as is, and a lot of swearing, so I'm going to go ahead and get that on there, and then I will get you guys back on camera to before I wrap it up with some more tape and my insulation, that safety tape, and then plug the thing back in and go back together and cross my fingers. Okay, so as you can see, there's the 2 connections underneath that and the other end of the sensor. And so now I'm going to use this, which is like a double-sided thick sticky tape called safety tape. I'm gonna wrap the whole thing with that tightly. Ouch. Gosh, it's such a pain getting up and down and through there. Anyways, I'm gonna wrap that tightly with that, just to hope that even if there is a mouse up in there again, hopefully he won't like that stickiness. Hopefully he won't mess with that. And I don't know, I might try and get some special spray like Rat Away or something like that to try and convince those animals that they don't want anything to do with anything up in there. Anyway, so after I get that wrapped, plug it in and start going back together, and cross my fingers once we have it together that I quickly start it up and we're good to go. And really, just to get this apart, yeah, there's a bunch of different hoses and stuff. Ooh, there should be 5 of these. There's got to be one more laying right here somewhere. It might have fallen down in there actually somewhere, but there's 4 of these long bolts that go into the intake manifold, and then there's 3 bolts up top here and 2 nuts. Those go on the top, and then there's 2 more just like these bolts here. Sorry you can't see any of this in the dark here. 2 more bolts like that go on the bottom side of the intake manifold. If you don't know what the intake manifold is, it's that big black thing that was constantly in the way. So anyways, gotta keep going. Okay, here we are. I believe I have everything back together fully, all the hoses. The only wire connection besides the sensor that I took off was this one, and about 4 other hose connections, vacuum hose connections. Now here's the valve cover. So my initial impression is, well, it usually, when it's cold out like this, actually takes a second till it does shift to overdrive. It likes to be fully warm, so I'll give it another second and wait till that temp's all the way up. Okay, so we're at full operating temperature. I actually do believe that it may be working because my RPMs would be up a lot higher if it wasn't. It does seem to be catching all the gears, but let me just be sure. So there's first gear, second gear, third gear, overdrive. We got them all! Haha! I believe that's all, or wait, maybe that was even overdrive. But there's actually an OD on-off button, and I know for a fact that before, when I was driving and pushing that, it was not making any change. So watch, I'll hit it right now. Boom, shifts up about 200 RPMs, and the light comes on, and boom, back. So this will be the real test. If I'm doing, an easy way to see right here, if I'm doing 3,000 RPMs, if once I'm doing 50 miles an hour, it should be below, well below 3,000 RPMs. So, yep, there's 50, and boom, we shifted into overdrive, and we're doing like 2,000 RPMs. So there's basically over 1,000 RPM, about 1,200 RPM difference from before. Going at 50 miles an hour, I was doing 3,000 RPMs, and now at 50 miles an hour, I'm at like 1,800 RPMs or so. So I definitely fixed it. The check engine light will probably go off after, I don't know, between maybe 20 and 50 miles of driving, maybe less. Hey guys, a little update on the Camry. It's a few weeks later and it's driving good. No problems with it. And the check engine light hasn't gone away, and I put some miles on it, so I'm gonna have to get that erased. But also, if you notice, I figured out my camera. I accidentally had it on a filter mode for dream filter or something, dream mode. But anyways, so yeah, I got that all figured out, and I know a lot of people who probably will have just a bad knock sensor, and they're gonna have to get in there, loosen that nut on the stud and put a new one on there. But for me, I have the rodent to thank for making this video for anybody who's confused about where that thing's at or how to do it. So hope everybody's doing well, and we'll catch you on the next video shortly here. Stay tuned.